You're about to open a window into the life of a ghost hunter. We'll show you dark, creepy roads that fade into the night. We'll show you haunted places, but most importantly, we'll show you what happens along the way there.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff with Virginia Paranormal Investigations, and this is the weekend before Halloween. So this is, of course, one of the busiest weekends for us here at VAPI, and there's a few events going on that are somewhat overlapping. So for one, the Haunts of Poquoson is happening here, and it wasn't supposed to rain or anything, but it's looking windy and cloudy, and that's not too cool. But I had to set up a display down there. Set up a table with some information and some pictures and stuff on it. And now we're heading out to the Lee Hall train depot. And the Lee Hall train depot is a pretty cool place. It's in Newport News. And the train depot had never been investigated prior to this past August, when me and the team went up there and did an investigation. And we got some pretty cool activity that was up there. Now, of course, with time constraints and everything, I never got a chance to put together that video. But there's going to be a public investigation up there tonight, and we're going to be bringing people through, groups of people through, about 30 minutes per group, talking about using the equipment and showing the place. And it's sold out. 135 people, I believe, is the total that are coming to that. Well, after that, we got to pack up and then come down here because we're doing our own public investigation at the Poquoson Museum. And this is something that we do there every year. It's also known as the Dryden Farmhouse. And we do this at the Poquoson Museum to try to raise money, but it's a little bit of a smaller event because the tickets max out at about 15. I think this time we pushed them to 17, just to kind of keep the group small so that there's more potential of experiencing activity. So we come down and we do that. Then tomorrow we have ghost walks, which in Yorktown, which I believe are about sold out, and the Haunts of Poquoson, which we're going to be set up at, which is back to the museum, actually manning that table this time. So we're down 2 people at this point. So it's just me and Linda that are going to be covering these events, and it's going to be quite a hectic night. But what I'd like to do is try to kind of take you along with us and just show some little clips and little chats about what's been going on and what happens throughout the night. So perhaps a reason to stay tuned. And I'll tell you what, it is now 4:56, and I hadn't eaten since lunch. So there's going to be some grub in the near future here. Well, not the near enough future, but perhaps between the 2 public investigations. So like I said, reason to stay tuned. So one thing we do as paranormal investigators is keep the battery companies in business. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, $50 worth of batteries at BOGO 50% off. So this part of Newport News, it has kind of an old feel to it. Not exactly this area, right where we are now, but where we're going to. Because we'll have the train depot, and then there's an older house by the train depot, and I'm not talking like Civil War old. I believe the train depot was from the 1880s itself. But some things that are perhaps from around that era. There's an old store across the street. And also, we'll see, there it is. There's the train depot right down there across the tracks. And right before it here, we'll see the Boxwood Inn, where we did an investigation at probably about 8 or 10 years ago. And there it is. It's that big looming building right there. And that's haunted. And then this is the little general store. There's an old general store right here on the right that's been closed down for some time, probably since like the 40s or 50s. And then here we are coming up on the train depot.
I guess you'll be another group follower as well. So let's
Where's the volume adjustment on this?
On the top here. Right here's that wheel.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we got our REM pod set up here. Motion light. And these lanterns, like I say, they give off a very nice ambience. And this is the way we'll be coming through right here. And then in the station master's office, got another REM pod. Got another motion light
Yes.
over there on that heater.
Right on the hot belly stove.
Yeah. And there's Linda. Linda, I don't think you said hi yet.
I did not.
Yeah. Are you excited?
I am. I'm kind of excited. This is the first time we've done this, a public investigation here. So it's going to be kind of interesting. But we have to remember to tell the spirits before anybody gets here to try to act up. Try to act a fool. Like make a lot of noise, freak the people out. Because it's a public investigation, we want them to feel like they're getting their money's worth. Even though it's just $10 a ticket. Still, we want people to walk away with an experience.
Right. And speaking of telling before the investigation, I got to remember to tell the Poquoson police that we're going to be down there on the grounds of the museum.
Oh, that's right.
So they don't come after us like last time.
That's right.
But let's just take a peek around here. So the Railway Express room, Railway Express Agency. This is like the baggage claim room, and it's set up for refreshments and stuff. So pretty cool, right? And then outside, there's a haunted caboose. Got someone's arms in the door there.
Yeah,
That's the door prop. Nice. That's pretty cool.
So these are his dismembered body parts.
Oh, okay. And this
Oh,
is the man
yeah.
who was sucked off
Yeah,
the
yes,
platform.
that's out.
Right.
He came in
That's
and
his goat.
introduced himself as a dead person, so
yes.
said he
Oh,
looked
have you
pretty
shaken
good.
his hand?
No, he said he looked pretty good.
Shake his hand.
Is it one
Albert.
of those buzzer
It's gonna
things?
fall
Got a
off,
customer
isn't it?
here.
Is it gonna fall off?
Oh, I don't know what to do. I wouldn't know
He
what to
said I
say.
need to shake your hand.
Oh, wait.
Okay, I'll
Hold
turn
on,
around and
not
I'll look
yet.
up.
But I like the lights under the.
Uh-huh. This is our Cracker Jack.
Somebody give me a hand.
I can give you a hand.
I'm 150 years old. All right, pull.
Oh.
I said, give me a hand. Not take one so they can see it.
Yeah, it's a little hidden under there.
Yeah.
Put it on this side of the ties.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Yep.
Put it so the tour.
So we have this REM pod that's been going on here, and it's pretty interesting because during our initial investigation and our first group through here, it didn't go off at all, and it's been in the same place. And we're here in the Rail Master's office.
So we'll go into the station master's office after this first room and get a look at the cat wall and see if something can light it up. And on the second group, the last group I brought through here, there was a REM pod in there. I'll show you that to you, and that thing was going off by itself. So certainly a little bit of activity tonight. But if you guys want to follow me through, we'll go straight through this door here.
You might need to go out this way.
So, it's hard to believe it's 9 o'clock already.
I know.
Wrapping up here.
Yes.
Anything interesting?
Actually, you know, when we had our first investigation, our preliminary investigation here, We walked away kind of thinking that perhaps it was a cat spirit that was here. And everything that happened tonight sort of reinforced that. We got no activity on the spirit box, got no responses on the spirit box, but we got a lot of activity with the REM pod and with the little flashy cat ball thing. And the activity that we got wasn't in response to any questions that we were asking. It was sort of random. Like the cat was coming around curious about all these people and about the equipment, you know, checking things out, and then it would just kind of go off in the corner and sit down and relax and wait for the next group to come in. So again, kind of an interesting thing. I think there is a cat.
Where was that at?
This was in the station master's office.
The
Every
station
time,
master's
station master's office.
Yeah, that's where I got some stuff too.
Yeah.
But that cat was like jumping up and slapping at some of these EMF detectors too. Because there was a few spikes on these in
I'm
there.
not sure about that.
So now we're on our way to the second public investigation at the Poquoson Museum. This one's going to start at 10:30. It's going to go to 1:30 a.m. So it's going to be pretty cool because we capped that off at a small amount of people, 17 tonight. And we get to investigate the museum and the haunted marsh that's out behind it. So hopefully we'll get to take you along and show you a little bit about that one and what goes on there. But between now and then, it's 9:19 and still haven't had anything since lunch. So we got to put that second G in the title. Got to get some grub. And I think what we're going to do is actually stop at Chick-fil-A. Because when you're doing something like this, where we're going to have these people and we're going to have to make sure they're entertained for 2 hours straight, it's important to watch what you eat. Because the last thing I want is that kick in the stomach, that low rumble in the bowel, and know that the nearest toilet is like 2 hours away. So I think Chick-fil-A is a pretty safe bet for this. But then again, there's no guarantees. I guess we'll have to find out. All right, so there we are. Chick-fil-A sandwiches. What do we got there?
Yeah, we got the Chick-fil-A Spicy Deluxe.
Oh, yeah.
They're really good. We get them with pepper jack cheese on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
And it's always good covered in buffalo sauce.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to do in the Bronco.
No, that's a little iffy.
Right.
But
some waffle fries.
But they do have waffle fries. I like the waffle fries. They're some of my favorite fries around here. And that's about it. Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah.
I gotta have some
Cut and
Chick-fil-A
dry.
sauce. Yeah.
Some fuel for the investigation, and hopefully not gonna send me to the toilet.
No, hopefully not, but you never know.
It sounded like it said,
Are you from Poquoson? Are you happy that they moved your house here? Is this your house? Is there anything in the closet?
Is there a way you can ask questions with these?
you can, if you put it down, like on the, or you're even holding it, and you could ask something or someone to light it up.
Do we have any more like voice recorders and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think they're down in the bags. We have some.
Do you think we could get one? I can go run and get one real quick.
You could, or I can just record with the camera here.
Okay. Ooh, is there any like things that were in here, like any major stories that were in here, like before?
No, there's a woman that frequently comes up the stairs. And they saw her just last night.
Does she come in? Which room does she most likely turn into?
We don't know.
Oh, She just goes up the stairs and vanishes.
She just comes up the stairs. You see her on the staircase, hear her walking up the staircase.
Mhm.
Can we come back?
If you're the woman that walks up the staircase, can you light that up for us?
Are you sad?
You know, we have some things going in front of the camera, and these are natural
Mhm.
orbs. It's
Yeah.
dust.
Mhm.
That would be in here, even the very fast ones.
Did the person who lived here have any like grandchildren or anything like that?
Yeah, in fact, her granddaughter are staying downstairs
Do you miss having this
And-
door open for people to come see you?
because she was not feeling well, I suppose. I believe that's what it was. The heat didn't really come up here, so she slept downstairs.
Mhm.
And she heard someone banging on the front door
Are you a soldier?
and called her family who lived across the street and asked them if they saw anybody. And they said no one was on the front porch because she looked out the window and didn't see anybody. So then someone started banging on the windows and the door, and there was no one on the porch.
Are you a fisherman? Say Eric.
Is your name Eric?
If you liked to bake, light it up.
Who's Eric? You want to go downstairs? Or you want to go back in this room? Ooh, the closet.
This is the old storeroom. Because it's set up like an old store.
Well, I've been up there a little. Yeah, we were looking for you. I was by myself. Here we go. Let's go in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
They can do
so
that. I'm going home.
wrap it up here.
So, actually, the investigations, both places we did tonight were really cool. This one tonight, it was very active inside the house here. The REM pod kept going off all the time. There was this app that this guy had, and of course, we don't put a lot of stock in apps, but the app that this guy had was just firing out words one after the other, and every word that came out of that thing was a direct response, a direct answer to a question that had been asked. So, for instance, I said, can you find some way to tell us, what your name is? And the response was how, with a question mark next to it. Like how do you want me to do it, So it was pretty cool. It wasn't spitting out words like unholy and death and things like that. It was very normal words. It was quite uncanny. But then the next group came through and they had the same app. Nothing.
Ghost tube.
Ghost tube. Except for the one girl that was standing up there, and the only thing that came out of it, it said, leave here. And about 2 or 3 minutes later, she's standing upstairs at the landing, and she felt like something touched her on the back. And I never saw her after that. She went downstairs.
Yeah, I didn't see them after that either. Did they leave?
I think she left.
Oh, they must have left after that.
She got freaked out and left.
I walked into the storeroom and they said, do you want Jeff to leave? Because everything got quiet when I walked in there. And when they said that, the REM pod lit up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wanted me to leave.
Get the hell out of here, Jeff.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, I mean, we've only been on our feet since about 8.
Yeah. 8 this morning.
Well, it's Saturday evening. The investigation last night was a pretty good time. We spent 3 hours. It was a 3-hour investigation at the Poquoson Museum, public investigation. A couple of people had experiences there. Some interesting things happened. And just a couple nights ago, the people that work there saw the woman that goes up and down the staircase. they caught a glimpse of her, so that was pretty cool. Now today, spent the day translating New Testament Greek, and now, Saturday evening, heading out to the Haunts of Poquoson, which is a cool event down here in Poquoson. If you ever get a chance to come to it one year, they have a maze, they have hot chocolate, and just all kinds of cool things that tell the story of Dolly's mammy, and they have it set up for a pretty cool Halloween event. It's good for the kids and everything else. But we're going to be setting up a table there. I'm only going to be there for a short time because I have 2 tours down in Yorktown, with the first one starting at 7:30. So we're going to stop by the museum, see how the table's set up, check in with Linda, and then get on the road down to Yorktown.
So tonight I'm here at the Haunts of Poquoson event at the Poquoson Museum. And this is an event that we do every year. We come down here and set up a table and talk to some of the people from the local community. And we get to hear a lot of really cool stories, cool ghost stories from all kinds of people from, everywhere, like Yorktown, Newport News, Poquoson. It's just a really cool event. We have a lady over behind me that you might be able to see right up there. You see her? And she tells the story of Dolly's mammy, and that's kind of a local legend, but it actually is a documented ghost story, which is kind of cool. But yeah, maybe I'll take you over there so you can kind of hear some of her story.
So not a whole lot of opportunity to take video tonight, unfortunately. When I got to the Poquoson Museum for the haunts, Linda was up grabbing some Subway, and I didn't even get a chance to get the stuff out of the box and set up the table before people were already there talking and asking questions. And it was pretty cool because we got to meet some people and answer some questions about paranormal investigations and show some pictures and stuff like that that had some anomalies in them. Some kids came by and were interested in that sort of thing. But then Linda got there, I slipped out and went down to Yorktown and gave back-to-back tours. So I had a 7:30 tour and then a 9:30 tour. So definitely a long night. But I was able to stop by and get some Taco Bell on the way out of Yorktown. And they have this Nacho Fry Box Deluxe, which is pretty good because it comes with the nacho fries, and then it's also got a steak chalupa, it's got a Dorito Loco taco, and like a 3-layer burrito. So being that I haven't eaten since breakfast, because once again, given talking for 3 hours and out there doing tours, there's no chance to go to the bathroom in between. So I didn't want to gamble and like eat something before the tours, because the biggest thing is like when you're in the middle of a tour, what happens if you gotta go to the bathroom? You can't do it. So there's that. But yeah, right now I'm heading back to the house, and I want to tear into this Taco Bell. I think we'll maybe have a little bit of a debrief of the weekend, because it seems short in this video, but it was really a lot of a very busy weekend, and now it's gonna perhaps slow down, at least event-wise, after this. So we made it back here to the back porch.
Never mind the old beat-up air conditioner that's sitting here.
Yeah, we actually got that out of the trash. Someone was throwing it out, and it worked.
Yeah,
so
it works real good.
yeah,
Keeps it nice and cool.
right, year-round.
Yeah.
Because we run the AC even in the winter.
Yeah, because Jeff is like a nuclear factory in bed. It's like sleeping with a nuclear factory. It's pretty bad.
But so Linda,
Yes.
while I was out giving the ghost tours, you were down there at the Poquoson Museum,
I was.
right? And how about a little debrief about the events of the night?
Well, when we got there, I had my sub. Like, I had a Subway sub. And, I've been eating these veggie subs. I'm not a vegetarian by any means. I like meat. Don't get me wrong. But the vegetarian sub, I get a little bit of oil and vinegar on it and pile it high with all these veggies and stuff. And it's really good. So I had one of those things that I brought with me to the event. And I didn't really have much of a chance to eat it. Like, it took me about an hour, I think, to eat this thing because we were so inundated with people coming up to the table and inquiring about who we were and what we were doing. And people telling us, everybody that came up to the table said, "Oh, you ought to come to my house." And it's funny because people in our area, in our little town, it's kind of an isolated little town, a waterman's community. And these people are very superstitious, like very superstitious, but they don't actually want you to talk a lot about ghosts and about spirits because they feel like in doing so they're going to bring about something. You know, they're going to bring things forward and make things happen that are not, that are calm and sleeping right now. And it's a little bit weird, but you know, I got to talk to quite a few people. I love doing this Haunts of Poquoson event each year simply because I get to talk to so many people from the local community and find out what their ghost stories are. And that's probably the best thing about what we do, is hearing all of these different ghost stories, hearing what they experience in their own homes, especially when they first move into a home, and you know, what they experience. It's really cool because it's not the typical ghost stories that you hear. And you know, I had this little kid come up to me, and I don't even know what his name was, but he was adorable, and I could have brought him home. He was about maybe 5 or 6 years old, and he was so much more mature than his older brothers. And he's sitting there asking me these questions for about 20 or 30 minutes. You know, all of these different questions. And I could tell, you know, you can tell when you're actually telling somebody an answer to a question that they're really listening to you. And he was all into it. He was enthralled. He was just like leaning his little elbows on the table, and he's just talking to me like an adult. And he was really cool. You know, I told him the name of the channel, how to find us. So hopefully he looks us up and sees this. But his mother was standing back there dressed like the moon. You know, she had this moon costume on. And
Like a big round costume?
Yeah, she had this big round, like moon looking thing on. And she's just standing back there for 30 minutes, like letting him talk. And his father came up and was like, "Oh, you got a lot of patience." And but kids like that, it's good to see. It's good to see kids that are so interested in the paranormal and that have this mentality to be able to talk to you like an adult about the stuff. And so I entertained them for the whole time. But there were like lots and lots of people that came up to the table. It was a very busy night, and a lot of people wanted to know what the scariest thing that I've ever seen was, or the scariest place that I've ever been was. And of course, the scariest place I've ever been is Crawford Road, right here outside of the village of Yorktown. And if you don't know anything about that, you ought to look it up. Crawford Road is a cool place. But late in the evening, probably about 9 o'clock, you know, our daughter was running around, and she's 12 years old, and she's inside hanging out with the docent of the whole event, right? Because it was warm inside the house, and it was pretty chilly outside where I was. And she comes running out and tells me that this one kid that I had substituted taught, you know, I substitute taught for a little while. And this kid was a very difficult child, but he had evidently gone into the maze. They set up a maze, kind of like I guess like a haunted maze that you can go through, and people jump out at you and scream at you. And you know, people had this kid had gone through there and slashed it with a knife. All of the plastic that they used to surround the maze and create the maze, he had slashed all of this stuff. And so there's a kid running around with a knife, a 12-year-old kid running around with a knife, and they decided at this point that they needed to shut the whole event down. The police were coming. You know, he'd obviously vandalized the area, and you know, it's just, I don't understand kids nowadays, why they have to do things like that. And even our own kid, she was like, "Hey, I don't understand that. Like, why would you do that?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like, some kids are just dumb. They just do dumb stuff, and they have bad parents, right? This is just bad parenting. So, the police came and questioned everybody and was trying to figure out who did it and if they could charge somebody. And, you know, because the museum puts on this event they work really hard. It's a lot of older people at the museum who work on the board. They get together and they do this. They set all of this stuff up for everybody every time. And, you know, it just sucks that somebody comes along and vandalizes it and does something bad like that. But nonetheless, they shut the whole thing down, and I went ahead and packed up. And but really, if they had gone through the rest of the day, through the rest of the evening, I think I would have had more people coming to the table. I barely had a chance to eat my sub because it was just, you know, constant people coming up, and you don't want to be chewing on stuff and trying to talk to people at the same time. But you know, I eventually had a chance to eat the sub, and it was a really, really interesting event. Probably is the best Haunts of Poquoson event that we've done, really.
Yeah, it seemed like a good turnout because, like I said, from the moment I got there, and I was just putting the stuff up on the table, the people are already coming up to me
Yes.
and talking, and I didn't get a chance to even
You didn't
finish
even
setting
get a
up.
chance to put up,
Yeah.
put stuff up.
Yeah, but it is sad that people go down there and mess stuff up. You know, like I said, especially at a place like that, because a lot of the stuff they pay for it out of pocket. They put these things together. It's kid friendly. It's like geared towards kids.
It is.
You know, and you got people that go in there and mess it up,
Yeah.
which is really a shame. And it's problem the system is failing these kids by, like I said earlier, by bowing down to the parents.
Right.
Because way back in school, instead of accommodating, be like, oh, you know, just let this kid do whatever they want and walk all over everyone. Like, no, you're going to do this or you're going to get suspended and you're going to get thrown back on the parents, and the parents are going to get you straight before they send you back to school, or else, you know, they're going to be stuck with you. And once the parents get that realization, like, oh, no, we're going to be stuck with our kid if we don't deal with them. We can't just pass them off on someone else.
Yeah.
You know, then maybe they can get the kids in order.
Right, and
That's
somebody
it's a
really
crazy
needs
thing.
to step up and renovate the public school system to an
Yeah.
extent. Because when I was substitute teaching, there was this one kid that actually did the slashing of the plastic and all that stuff. He was this kid that would come into class and he would sit there and would not do his work. Okay, all the rest of the kids are doing their work. They're sitting there, you know, like on their paperwork, doing their assignments. And this one kid would just screw off. He would just, like, you know, mess around the whole entire time. And then the teacher, who I was substituting for, said, well, you have to give this kid a little bit of extra time. And when you take all of the kids to the rug to sit down and read a story to them or go over an assignment with them, you have to just kind of leave this kid in the background and let him do whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah, let them do whatever they want.
Yeah,
Don't teach them that there's rules and stuff to follow.
Right, they accommodate this kid because they don't want, because if they did try to force him to do something that he didn't want to do, he'd throw a fit. And as a parent, I'm one of those kids that I don't care whether you throw a fit or not. Like, you're going to do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But evidently the teacher, and probably many teachers after him, all said, okay, it's easier for us to just let him do what he wants to do.
Because there's
and
zero
not
discipline.
try to force him to do what he doesn't want to do. And he was just one of those kids that right from the start, you could tell that he didn't have any discipline from his parents. And, you know, the school should have enforced it, because the school was one of those that, like, you should have come forward and just made him act like he should have acted right from the very beginning. But I would have the assistant principal, the vice principal would be in the class with me the entire time I taught this kid. And she would be sitting right next to him and trying to control him, because she knew that if this kid was, you know, if he was acting up, then, you know, she wasn't sure how I would act. And I don't know. I was told at one time that I was really good at dealing with these problem children, which sucked for me because
Then you get all the problem children.
I get all the problem children. I would have balled this kid up and thrown him like a shot put across the room.
Yeah.
You can't really do that.
No.
But that's, you know, the kind of attitude I had as a teacher and as a parent, really.
Right.
You know, you discipline these
You
children.
do what you're supposed to do, because if you don't teach kids to do what they're supposed to do, then they're not going to do what they're supposed to do, and they're going to do wrong things, and they're going to get in trouble with authority all throughout life.
Yeah, but now
somebody downhill spiral.
Now in the public school system, you've got all these people that are like, you know, Oh, we don't want to get the parents upset. No,
Right.
we don't want to get the children
Oh,
upset.
yeah, we got to make sure no one gets upset. We got to avoid
Yeah.
everyone getting upset.
Yeah,
So
we don't
it's
want anybody
ridiculous.
to be upset. It is.
But at the Yorktown Ghost Walks, I didn't have anything cool like a knife fight or cops showing up or anything like that. But it was a pretty good thing. I mean, almost both tours were sold out. I think I only had 2 tickets available, so 28
Yeah.
people on the one tour. I think maybe like 23 or something like that, plus on
That's
the first tour. And between these tours, the 2 investigations that we did last night,
Oh,
I mean,
gosh,
there were
yeah.
over 200 people
Yeah.
that bought tickets to our ticketed events.
Right.
And we really appreciate that. If you were someone that came out to either the Lee Hall Train Depot or the Poquoson Museum last
Yeah.
night, or you came on one of our tours tonight, we really do appreciate that.
Right, and
And-
even the people that came to the Haunts of Poquoson, there was a lot of people that came and showed up and inquired about our team.
Yeah,
and what
yeah, it
we
was
did.
great to have you stopping by the table and such, which is good. And if you ever get a chance, I don't know if there'll be another one this year. It's usually 1 or 2 a year we do at the
Right.
Poquoson Museum. They're the only public events that we really do. This time we took on the Lee Hall Train Depot because, you know, we normally focus on residential investigations.
Mhm.
But if you do get a chance to come to that, please come. Because once again, we do it as a fundraiser for the Poquoson Museum. So
Right.
all the money goes to them to help preserve history and to help whatever small amount we can contribute
Yeah,
to
and
that.
the train depot, like they made $1,300+ last night just with us being there for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, so
It's more
it's
than-
great to be able to raise
yeah,
that money
it's
for
more than worth
history. So it is a cause.
Yes.
It does go to a cause. It's not going in anyone's pockets. It's going to
Right.
preserve these places and to help them out.
Yes.
But quite a weekend.
Yeah.
So I want to
really
thank
was.
you all for joining us as we kind of took you through a brief little clips here and there about what we did and
Yeah.
kind of kept you in tune along the way.
Yeah.
But join us next time as now we're back to the investigations.
Yes. And we've got a lot of them that
Absolutely.
we need to line up.
Absolutely, everybody. So thanks for joining us. Happy Halloween.